I let my brother-in-law stay in our guest room during his divorce. He ate our food, used our car, slept all day. One night, I came home and found him sitting at my side of the bed. My husband wasn't home. He smiled and said, "She's the one who wanted me here. You just didn't get the hint." I left that night. 2 days later, I saw the texts that. My name is Dana. I live in Spokane, Washington. I'm 41. I've been married to Rick for 12 years. We don't have kids. We tried, but it didn't happen. I don't talk about that much anymore. Some things just hurt too long. We live in a modest 2-story home on the edge of town. I run a small eBay shop selling collectibles. Rick works in software sales. We both work from home most days. We had a good setup. Quiet. Comfortable. That changed in January. Rick has a younger brother, Trent. I've always gotten a bad feeling from him. He's the kind of guy who thinks he's charming when really he's just loud and inappropriate. He got divorced twice already, both times messy. The last one, his second wife, apparently threw his clothes out the window and changed the locks. Rick told me over dinner, Trent needs a place for a week or two. Just until he finds something else. He didn't ask. He told me. I said, "You're just deciding this without even talking to me?" Rick rolled his eyes. "Dana, it's temporary. Come on. He's my brother." I didn't want to argue, so I let it go. That was my first mistake. Trent moved in 3 days later. Showed up with 2 duffel bags and a box of video games. That's it. No job. No car. Just stories about how crazy his ex was. At first, I tried to be polite. I bought extra groceries, cleaned up after him, made space in the closet downstairs. But by week 2, I was exhausted. He never cleaned. Never helped. He slept in until 2 p.m. every day. Used our car without asking. Left trash in the living room. Once I found a dirty plate in the bathroom sink. He'd sit in the kitchen for hours talking about old memories with Rick, loud, obnoxious stories that made me feel like I wasn't even in my own house. I brought it up with Rick. "He's your brother, not your child," I said. "He's freeloading. He's having a hard time, Dana," Rick said, annoyed. "Why are you so cold about it?" Because I knew. Something didn't feel right. It was like Trent wasn't just crashing, he was settling in. And then things started getting weirder. One morning, I went to make coffee and found Trent already in the kitchen. He was staring at me. Not like people normally stare, this was long, slow, like he was trying to memorize something. "Morning," I said. He grinned. "You always wear that robe?" I stopped. "Excuse me?" "Just saying. It's flattering." I walked out. Told Rick later. He shrugged. "He's joking, Dana." No. He wasn't. Weeks went by. Trent never left. If anything, he got more comfortable. He started walking around without a shirt. Blasting music late at night. Taking my spot on the couch like it belonged to him. Then one Friday night, I came home from a late grocery run. Rick was at a work dinner. The house was dark. I went upstairs, just tired and ready to shower. And I froze. Trent was sitting on my side of the bed. Just sitting there. Hands folded. Like he was waiting for me. "What the hell are you doing?" I asked. He looked up slowly and gave this twisted smile. "She's the one who wanted me here," he said. "You just didn't get the hint." I backed up toward the hallway. "Get out. Get the F*** out of my room." He didn't move. "Why do you think Rick fought so hard to let me stay?" I left the house shaking. Got in the car. Drove to a motel on Division Street. I didn't even cry. I just sat in the room staring at the wall all night. 2 days later, I went back while Rick was gone. I needed answers. Rick's iPad was on the kitchen counter. I shouldn't have opened it. But I did. His messages were synced. I scrolled through his texts with Trent. And I saw it all. They were laughing about me. Sharing photos of me taken from inside the house. One from the upstairs hallway. Another in the kitchen. Messages like, "She's uptight as hell. You wouldn't believe what she freaked out about this morning. Bet she'd flip if she saw what we really think." And this one, "Trent, think she'd freak if I told her what we planned? Rick. Don't push it. Not yet." They were planning something. I didn't know what. But it involved me. I copied every message. Every screenshot. Sent it all to myself. Then I packed a bag and left. But I wasn't just running. I was planning, too. After I left the second time, I didn't go to another hotel. I went to my friend Marcy's place. We'd been close for years. She was the kind of friend who didn't ask too many questions at first. Just handed me a glass of wine and said, "You're safe here. Whenever you're ready to talk, I'm here." I showed her the messages that night. Her face went stiff. "What the hell are they planning?" she asked. "I don't know," I said. "But I'm going to find out." The next day, I saw a new email on my work account. It was from one of Rick's clients. Except it wasn't meant for me, it had been CC'd by accident. It was an invoice. Sent to Rick. For a storage unit he'd rented 2 months ago. The address caught my eye. It was across town, near an industrial area. I decided to go. I used the number on the invoice, pretended to be Rick's assistant, and said I needed access to collect some files. The manager was hesitant, but I was polite and confident. After 15 minutes and a fake ID badge I'd made from a hotel keycard and a lanyard, he let me in. The unit was packed. Not with junk, this wasn't a guy hiding old furniture or leftover tech gear. It was my stuff. Clothes. Framed photos. My books. Even my grandmother's old quilt. All boxed and labeled. Some of it I hadn't even noticed missing yet. One box was labeled "Personal, Dana." I opened it. Inside were my journals. Letters. A flash drive. I plugged the drive into my laptop right there. Photos. Audio clips. Voice recordings of me arguing with Rick. Edited, chopped to make me sound unhinged. I sat on the cold concrete floor and realized something. They weren't just messing with me. They were setting me up. I left that storage unit with shaking hands. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I felt something colder. Like a wire had snapped inside me. I spent the next 2 days pulling together everything. The messages. The photos. The invoice. The location of the storage unit. I made copies. Printed backups. Put one set in Marcy's safe. Another with my lawyer friend Greg. Then I called Rick. I said, "We need to talk. In person. Just you and me." He didn't hesitate. Finally. "Jesus, Dana, I've been worried sick." We met at the park. Neutral place. Public. Safe. Rick hugged me like nothing had happened. "Where have you been?" he asked. I looked him straight in the eye. "Why did you rent that storage unit, Rick?" He froze. "What?" "I know. I saw everything. The texts. The pictures. My things." He didn't even try to deny it. He just smiled, like Trent had. "You weren't supposed to find that," he said. "Find what?" I said quietly. "The plan was simple," he said. "You'd get overwhelmed. Lose it. Walk out for good. We'd file for abandonment. Trent would testify. Maybe I'd even get the house. My jaw clenched. You were building a case to screw me over. No, he said, still calm. I was building a way out. Then he added, almost like it was a joke, you were just in the way. I left that meeting with something I hadn't had before, clarity. This wasn't just betrayal. It was war. I didn't go home after the park. I didn't even go back to Marcy's. I went to a hotel under a fake name. I needed space to think. Not to feel sorry for myself, but to plan what came next. I had already spoken to a lawyer, Greg. He was a friend of my cousin's and knew divorce and property law inside out. I'd called him 2 days before meeting Rick at the park. Greg had listened quietly as I laid it out, the texts, the photos, the recordings, the storage unit. When I finished, he said, Dana, they weren't just trying to push you out. They were laying the groundwork for a psychological case. Painting you unstable. They were getting ready to file first, and if you hadn't found those messages, they might have pulled it off. What do I do now? I asked. You wait, he said. Don't tip your hand. And whatever you do, don't go back to that house. So I didn't. But 2 nights later, I got a surprise. It was around 9:30. My hotel room phone rang. Mrs. Morgan, a woman asked. Yes? This is Officer Grant from Spokane PD. We've had a report of a disturbance at your residence. We need to confirm your whereabouts. My stomach dropped. I haven't been home in a week. What kind of disturbance? There was an anonymous call claiming a woman matching your description was seen breaking windows and threatening your husband and his brother with a knife. I almost laughed. That's not true. I'm alone, in a hotel. She paused. We'll need you to confirm that with a visit. Do you have ID and a room receipt? It was a setup. They were trying to get me arrested. Greg told me later that if I'd gone home that night, or hadn't had a solid alibi, it could have turned ugly fast. A domestic violence accusation, even a false one, could have dragged me into court and left me fighting uphill just to keep what I already owned. But I wasn't playing defense anymore. A few days later, I got another surprise. Rick's ex-girlfriend messaged me. Not an old ex, one I'd never met. Her name was Jenna, and she was from before we got married. She had seen one of my Facebook posts where I mentioned needing a good lawyer for personal reasons. She messaged, if this is about Rick Morgan, I have a story. I called her. Turns out, she had been through something similar with him a long time ago. Emotional games, manipulation, even trying to convince people she was mentally unstable. And she had proof. Old emails, voicemails, even a few journal entries she'd scanned and saved when she thought she might need them in court. You're not crazy, Dana, she said. He's been doing this for years. He's just better at it now. That's when I knew I wasn't his first target. I was just the first one who fought back. I had something he didn't expect, evidence, allies, and a long fuse that finally ran out. But I wasn't just going to leave and let them move on. I had one more card to play. And I was going to make damn sure they never forgot what they did to me. After Jenna gave me those files, I knew what I had to do. It wasn't just about leaving. Or about winning in court. It was about making sure Rick and Trent couldn't do this to anyone else ever again. I met with Greg one last time. We had everything lined up, a protective order, a motion to freeze joint accounts, and an emergency court filing to contest the property and kickstart the divorce process. But I had one more thing. I'd made a backup flash drive. On it were all the messages, photos, and recordings. Everything from the iPad, everything from the storage unit, even the police report and Jenna's testimony. It was a full digital timeline of their setup. I gave it to Greg and told him, when I give you the word, I want this in the hands of every lawyer, every judge, and every one of Rick's clients. He nodded. Understood. Then I made a final visit to the house. I didn't go in. I just waited outside in my car until I saw Trent pull out of the driveway. Then I followed him. He went to a bar on the west side, near the bus station. I parked and waited until he was inside. Then I walked in. I hadn't seen him since that night in my bedroom. He looked up, shocked. "Wow. You look better than I expected." I didn't sit down. I stood over him and said, "I know what you did." He smirked. "Then you know you lost." I leaned in. "No. You just don't know yet." I left before he could answer. I didn't need to fight. I needed him off balance. Back home, I gave Greg the signal. The next morning, everything dropped. Emails went out to Rick's company with documents showing his involvement in the setup, the photos, the harassment. The storage unit was subpoenaed. So was Trent. Police opened a case on stalking and unlawful surveillance. A second case opened around the false police report. Rick was fired that same week. Trent tried to run, skipped town. But Jenna helped file a restraining order in her state, using my case as backup. His name started spreading in forums and social groups, especially among people in his old field. I filed for divorce and won everything. The house. The accounts. Even the car he let Trent drive around like it was his. But I didn't walk away clean. I'd lost months of peace. I'd lost trust I'll probably never get back. I let someone in my home who nearly broke me. That part was on me. And I'll never forget that feeling, that moment in the bedroom when Trent sat on my bed like he owned it. But I survived it. And they? They lost everything they were trying to steal from me. So yeah, maybe I made mistakes. Maybe I should have said no sooner. Maybe I should have seen the signs. But I fixed it. And I didn't just walk away. I watched them fall.